Hello everyone, how is it going? In the last video, we learned about port mapping. In this particular video, we will be learning about how to get inside a container. The first question that you must be having in your mind is like, hey Aniket, why actually should we get inside a container? Well, there can be an array of reasons, but I would be sharing three of them. So, firstly, if you want to add or remove softwares in your container that is running, getting inside the container is a method of doing that. Secondly, if you want to play around with the configuration files and configuration maps, it is a way out as well. Now, thirdly, a real world scenario. Now, currently, I'm working in Wells Fargo in their DevOps team. A lot of time we get inside a container just to check the firewall rules for it. Now, a lot of talking. Now, let's get on how actually you can get inside the container. Now, remember, whenever we used to run Docker, run Mongo, we used to get a hell lot of logs. These logs, a combination of access as well as error logs, can be irritating. So, what if we want all the functions to be running and all the services to be running, but we don't want to see the logs? How can we do it? We can do it simply with the detached mode. Now, how do we do that? We write docker run dash d and the name of the container or image that we want to spin up. Now we can see it simply returns a digest and our container is up and running. Dash D meaning detached mode, and detached mode implies that the image is running but in the background. Now, how can you get inside a container? So as always, we will write docker ps to get the container ID or the container name. So let's try to get inside this particular container. So to get inside a particular container, we write three particular keywords. We write docker, then exec dash it, the container ID, and the corresponding shell that we want to use. Now, don't worry if you are getting confused with what does this term mean, because I have made this particular diagram and I will explain the architecture for it just in a while. Now, if you just check with running this particular command, we are actually inside our container. Now, how do we play around? So simply let's check out with ls command and you can see it is running. Now you can get inside particular directories and check what all is present inside that. So if you want, we can also check what are the corresponding things written in a file. So to do that, we can do cat js YAML.js and you can see what all is present. Now, what if you want to create something of your own? Now, you want to do touch and let's say we can write Aniket. And if we check, we can see that a file named Aniket has been created. Well, there can be an array of things that you can do inside a container. So the world is yours. You can play around with it. Now, let's understand what exactly the three terms exec, dash I and dash T meant. So whenever we write exec, it says to our Docker engine that we require a container to be running and we want to execute commands inside that. With the dash I, it says that we are interested in doing standard input and output with that. So host terminal and container shell are the two terms that you might find to be a bit new for you. So the base command line that we are using till now was our host machine's terminal, right? As you can see from here as well. Now, whenever we ran this particular command, you get the root access for the corresponding container. So that is our container shell. So dash D helps us to get inside a container and spin up a pseudo terminal for it. So that's all. So to get inside a container, you can just simply write docker exec. Exec, just as a reminder, exec tells that we are gonna be writing commands inside a Docker container. Dash I for standard input and output handling, and T tells to run a dummy or a temporary terminal inside our container. Now, how does it identify which container? For that, we write IT. And in what corresponding script you want to run. For that, you can write bash, zsh, ksh, or anything that you want. And when we run that, we get inside the container. So with this, you can play around with anything you want to. In the next video, we will be learning on how can we configure container to a next level, and post that you will understand why does the concept of Docker file and Docker compose became in use so much. And if you don't want to miss out the videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for your time. Bye bye.